you walk through that door, you will find that what you've missed, you'll find again. Come and be part of something that's really worthwhile, that's what I say. And at the same time, it's all for yourself. You'll benefit so much out of it. You're not on your own no more. You walk through that door, and if we can help you, I'm telling you, we will.
Welcome to Tidy People, a series that looks at everyday people who make a difference every day out in our communities. Hello and welcome to Tidy People. In this episode, we're out and about up in Ton Pentre speaking to the great people at Valley Veterans. I'm sat here with Paul Bromwell. Paul, tell me a little bit about yourself and about Valley Veterans.
Well, I set this up virtually about 24 years, coming up to 25 years ago. One of the main reasons it was I didn't realise how much help I needed myself. And then I got involved with having a bit of treatment of combat stress. And I came home and I started helping guys in my own area. And from there, it's gone crazy. You know, it's 20 odd years of work. But if you look at what the achievements are, they're amazing. There's a lot of guys out there that needed help. And that's all I've done was direct them in the right place. And obviously, as it grew, I had more people in, but everybody I brought in to give me an hand. What I've done is pick people that got a good heart and are in it for the right reasons. And that's why you're so successful, I think. I think we're the biggest one in Wales at the moment that does a variation amount of work of what we do. But it's been interesting, really interesting.
I'd imagine there's quite a few characters that you've met over the years in setting this up and bringing into the group as well.
Yeah, well, you can imagine, right? But I got guys there that it's not a conflict that Britain have been in since the Second World War that's up here. So you can imagine the stories some days that comes out. It's amazing. It's amazing how there's so many still around. But one of my biggest problems I get is that when they finish with the services, they seem to be left. But by having an organisation like this, they feel part of something again. And I think that's what's more important than anything, that they wasn't wasted for what they've done. They helped their country. Now we're hoping that they got a bit of peace and they get help themselves, and that's what I do, is help them all. Whoever comes through that door gets help if they need it.
Yeah, and I suppose actually that sort of military life and a life of servitude, it's a very different way of living, isn't it? And to come out of that and then sort of be left to your own defences in some ways.
It's a wake-up call. It's a hell of a wake-up call. And even today, when the youngsters are coming out now, I step in and I help a lot. And then what you find is some of these guys have been in that many conflicts. And you're looking at Iraq, and then you're looking at Afghanistan, quite a few tours of that. And these guys are coming and they just dropped when they come out of the forces. And you're thinking, they thinking to themselves, what the hell am I doing now? But the good thing is that they get the help up here. And a lot of them go back on good jobs. And we help with that as well. So we are doing really a good job up here. And I think our proof of the pudding, as I say.
So tell me a little bit about your experience then. So what was your experience in service?
Right, I served 1982, I was in the Falklands. I was 18 and I spent most of my time in a specialised unit working behind the lines. And I was 18. And the next guy to me that I was in a unit with was 20, 25, 26 years of age. And you're looking at yourself, I had a lot to live up to. And obviously, when I come back, I didn't realise how much it had hit me. And to be honest, it changed my character. I was so easygoing, get out there and do it, no matter. And when I came back, I was really withdrawn. I didn't realise how bad I was. People said that, look, you changed that much. But I couldn't see it. And it took a long time for me to agree that I had a problem. And in between that, I wasn't a nice person then. A lot of anger in me because I lost so many of my mates. And when you lose that many, you can imagine it was 38 guys of my regiment got killed in one hit. And a lot of them guys I travelled back and forth with, I was the only one out of one car of 5 guys that came back. I was the only one who came home. So you can imagine what was in me. My rooms were empty, the place was empty, and all the guys that I knew, good friends of mine, they weren't around anymore. And that really affected me. And from then, I drank too much, got into trouble every night. And it was like I'd go in where I didn't know myself. But from there, I've managed to get my help and change my life back around, which is, I've had 26, 27 years of being okay. You know, a couple of slip-ups, but nothing that I can't sort out.
We're human though, aren't we? And I think it sounds like the core of who you are brought you back to that space, and I guess brought you to creating this as well. And like you said, you're an out there person, you're around people, and I guess you've used that to create this space to help bring others out of that.
Yeah, well, one of my things, what I find is, I remember what people don't realise is when people come back from conflict, they're never going to be the same. And it's hard to understand unless you've been through it. I remember when I came back, it was a day after I came home, and I went for a walk down the local park, and my mates were playing football, not a care in the world. And I think after what I've just come through, it was so surreal to actually think that you're going to be just fit back into life. You never fit back in. And it's hard, so I can understand where people come from. They think they're on their own, because the way they feel more than anything, but I understand that, and that's why I built this. It is help out there now, and whatever they need, they can come 7 days a week with me. And some of the lives I've saved, and I really have saved their lives. And the shameful thing is I've buried quite a few of them as well. And that's what breaks my heart, is what I see. But the good thing is that we still out there, we still saving lives every day. And that's what this is about. You know, if you help somebody else, you help yourself. Honestly.
Yeah, to me, to just having that space is really important. So, I mean, it's constant. Every time I've been up here, it's been full and it's been busy. So what sort of stuff do you do, and what keeps people coming through the door? Well,
the thing is camaraderie. Guys, they serve in the Navy, they sit, all the boys in the Navy. Sitting in the RAF, they sit together in the RAF. They stay in the Welsh regiments, they sit together on their tables. And it makes you laugh. But they all interlock, because obviously the forces do. Yeah. But the stories and the banter between the two of them, it's the banter that keeps it going. And that's what it's about. And the beauty about it is, no matter whatever happens, we do self-fund our own, and which is a bonus. We don't need anybody, except what we do, we look after each other. And that's important. And we put it out there. You know, that is how we survive. To be honest, with what I've done, I had to remortgage my house to keep it going. And you're thinking, well, why would you do that? Because I can. You know, and that's the difference. I'm not only have an understanding wife, to be honest. You know, so it's different. But, you know, I've done and achieved a lot. But what I find, I'm still out there, still doing things every day, which is important, you know.
Yeah, it's interesting that kind of I'm seeing sort of lately as well, there's a lot more partnership working, so you've had a lot of work with the health board coming in, and...
You're only as strong as people coming through the door. With the people as you can NHS, we've got Mind, we've got every sort of organisation, like Travaris, we do a lot of work, anybody that needs any help. The big organisations are behind me 100%. Will have taken a long time to get to that stage. I know, to be honest, we get to a stage where we're pushing people away because we can't cope, in respect to where organisations will get involved. And we just haven't got enough time, not enough hours. But we can't grow anymore, really. But it's looking after what we got. It's making sure we can bring up a good service to what we do. And that's what it's about. People benefit from it. You know, because we get more with the family situation as well, which is, you can see that with what we do with the children, the wives, and not the grandparents coming in. You know, at least they feel in something, that they're part of something that's growing, and it's worthwhile because it's helping everybody out. So it's good. It's win-win everywhere.
Yeah, and what would you say, so if someone, you know, if there's an ex-veteran out there who, you know, is seeing something like this and isn't sure if it's for them, or is worried about kind of coming into that space as a newbie, what would you say to them?
I understand that first move, and that first move is a breaker, because you walk through that door, you will find that what you've missed, you'll find again. Come and be part of something that's really worthwhile. That's what I say. And at the same time, it's all for yourself. You'll benefit so much out of it. You're not on your own no more. You walk through that door, and if we can help you, I'm telling you, we will. you know.
Thanks a lot, Paul. I think
that it?
that's a really great message, and I think what we'll do is we'll meet a few of the guys that you've been helping out.
I've been coming to the Valley Veterans for the last 5 years. You've got everything up here, you know. You can get the police come here, you can talk. If you've got any problems with the law, you get St. John's Ambulance Brigade come in. If you've got a pain anywhere, they'll tell you things like this, you know. It's really good up here compared to other places I've been to, yeah.
So what keeps you coming back? What
well, it's a comradeship, innit? You know, you talk a load of rubbish, sometimes it's the same old story. I'm a man of a certain age, you know. I was 82 weeks ago. And most of the fellas I served with, well, they've all passed away, you know. When I first came here, we sat on the table, 7 of us from the same regiment, the Welsh regiment, 41st of Foot. 2 months later, there was only 2 of us left. Within 2 months, 5 had passed away. I come up from Philly, I come up with Alan, I drag some other guys up. They say, you know, some stay, some don't. But some weeks there's quite a lot. Well, there's not so much now, but last week, I don't know if you, last week was really crowded.
I guess that's why it's important to have a network, isn't it? You know, you're at their older age, you're losing some of your older comrades.
Well, I was at the funeral yesterday, Dickie Edison. I served with him in Hong Kong. We joined the Welsh Regiment on the demise of the Welsh Regiment. The Welsh Regiment amalgamated with the South Wales Borderers to form the Royal Regiment of Wales in 1969. And then from there, that became the Royal Welsh, which is the regiment today. Yeah.
And what would you say to anyone thinking about coming along to one of these events?
They've got to do it. But we've found that, like my good self, when I came out of the forces, I didn't want nothing to do with it. I wasn't a career soldier. They tried with me. I was a Lance Corporal 3 frigging times, for goodness sake. But all I wanted to do was come home, grow my hair down to my shoulders, which I did. I bought a wigwam, got 4 packets of sunflower seeds, and spent a month up on Caerphilly Mountain. You believe that, don't you? No, it's not a bullshit. But that's what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do. I did grow my hair, but of course I had a wife then. Yeah. I spent 11 years and 42 days in the forces, as boy service as well. I joined at 15.5, and this is God's truth. It was either the forces or Boston, because it was naughty at the time. And it made me what I am, you know. Although I didn't get on rank-wise, you know, I enjoyed the pomp and everything, the praise and all that like that, you know. But when it came to a rank, I couldn't take all this. No. 11 years and 42 days. Boy service, joined my regiment in Berlin. From Berlin, battle school in Warminster. From there, Hong Kong. Then I joined the D&Ds, went out to Osnabrück. We did, there's a story there, went out to Malta. The only reason I joined the Devon and Dorset is because I only had 2 years of my service to go. And the wife fancied that, so we went out to Malta. We was only in Malta 2 weeks, so they sent me to friggin' Northern Ireland for 2 tours. Came back from there, over to Cyprus, emergency tour, then Sardinia with the Italians. So that cushy posted in Malta didn't happen. The wife sent it herself for 2 years, or a year it was, but anyway, that's it. Yeah, fine.
Bob, tell me a little bit about yourself and why you come along to Valley Veterans.
I done 12 years in the army, which was brilliant, by the way. And I've been coming here now about 4 years. Never had time before, because I was always working. But good selection of boys' company, over out of the house. And of course, the old war stories from the late 60s and early 70s. Gardening tips, what more do you want?
Useful tips then, is that?
Oh, yeah.
So you were saying that you've been kind of about 4 years now. What difference has that made to you? So what was it like before and to now?
Well, I was always working, so I joined the association branches. I was asked loads of times to go, and was always working. And people would shout at me, I'd be down there, coming up, Bob, coming up. And one of my best mates in the army, one come up one day and he said, oh, they got a veterans club up there, and I've been coming here ever since. Of course, my mate had gone on now, like that. And what have we, but I'm glad I come now, yeah? So, I'm here every week.
Doing it for the long haul then?
Yeah, the long haul, as they say.
And I guess to anyone who's maybe not sure about coming along to something like this, a bit sort of nervous about sort of stepping in, what would you say?
Well, like in my case, you know, I'll go next week, or next week comes, you don't bother. But anybody out there, ex-serviceman, come along, try it for a week, yeah, and go from there. Definitely.
Because I work for the NHS, and I get on quite well with the senior members of the board for Vlindra Trust, then they took me on board just to, you know, have some input from an NHS perspective, because so many of the guys need the support from the NHS. So they took me on to just to sort of get a bit of expertise from the NHS side of things. That's what they took me on for.
Oh, great. And what do you kind of get out of coming here? What does this space mean to you?
If I explain why I come up here, I suffered with really bad PTSD, and my counsellor for ages was trying to nag me to come up here. I didn't have the confidence. My wife with one of the guys here, and he said, tell him I'll meet him outside if he comes up. So I thought, right, she's arranged this now, so I've got to go. And I come up, Dad'll met me outside, he come in, sat down, and I'm with a bunch of boys that it seems like I'd known all my life. Because that was missing. It is, when you're having your problems, these lot all know it's not a big issue with them. I mean, we've all been there, we all understand it, we know all what it is, so it becomes easier to talk about it, easier to try and find some help, and you also find yourself helping other people as well. Well, you're nothing big, just you know, little favours, or make sure you're there for them, make sure you're on the end of the phone, and that's what makes the difference in you. There's a real camaraderie between the majority of the guys up here, and it does make a difference when you're struggling. And you know, just to come up or pick up the phone or whatever it does make a big difference.
Yeah, and I suppose mental health's a huge thing as well, isn't it? I think there's a lot of stigma around and a lot of kind of misunderstanding, I guess, about men opening up about mental health. But actually, you're all doing this every time you come up here, and it's not big in-depth conversations. You're kind of helping each other, and it might get a bit deeper sometimes, but actually it's about having that space to just talk like comrades.
Yeah, well, it's exactly that. That was something I learned when I was going through my treatment. Is I don't bottle things up anymore. So, you know what I mean? If there's something wrong, I talk about it, get it out. And I think with the boys is because there's no judgment, then you can say whatever you like. It gets out there and you're talking about it, and makes everything that bit easier to handle. I'm also a mental health first aid instructor, and I use a lot of these guys as examples to the men on the courses and say, look, I'm a bunch of soldiers. I said, these have seen some of the worst things you've ever seen in life. I said, we open up. We tell people when we're scared. We tell people when we're upset. I said, we don't hold it in anymore because it just eats you away inside. And it works. To tell people, even my son, when I'm telling him, look, we don't like things, we're open with our feelings now because we've learned what happens when you don't. And I suppose with the mental health side of it, that's the important bit, is we get out and we open up and talk about what our problems are.
Yeah, and it's fun. It's a fun space as well. It can be both, can't it?
Yeah, I don't even remember when I was doing the speech on the Comtar Home Day that if you said you want hear anybody telling you a war story with blood and guts in it, they'll tell you how much of idiots we are and the stupid things we've done. Because that's what we do. I mean, 9 times out of 10, that's what makes us who we are. Like it is.
Yeah.
What we've done for a laugh at the end of it, because everything else is serious. We don't want to know about that. We just want the good stories.
Yeah. You saying, you had a bit of a barrier to come in, and we've asked this sort of everyone now. What would you say to somebody who's maybe considering coming along, but is like you a bit nervous about doing that?
Walk in the door. There'll be somebody here to welcome you in and sit you down, have a cup of tea and a chat, and you won't be ostracised. I mean, we're all here to look after each other because we all know what it's like when we don't. So, walk in the door and there'll be somebody here for you. That's what I say to anybody that's coming in. And you'll be glad you did it as well.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Tidy People is produced by Trefalis Housing Association on behalf of the communities it serves. If you'd like to feature in one of our episodes, please get in touch at comms@trefalis.co.uk. That's comms, CONNS, @trefalis.co.uk.